Hey everybody, welcome back to another Stone Face Reactions. I'm Theta. Below me is Justin. Below them is Lessons. Okay, so I saw Lessons pointing sideways, and this is a vertical layout. So,
Yeah.
anyway, we're back with another episode of I was about to say Macross. Mobile Suit Gundam: The Origin, the final episode. Before we get into anything else, though, first off, we have a comment. Mr. Fricky from the Patreon from the episode Clash at Loum. Okay, small thing of surface of the companies that are not said in any show. Zionic and Zimad are rivals for who has the military contract on mobile suits, and I'm guessing this is an abbreviation, MIP, also makes mobile weapons, are subdivisions of Principality of Zeon. Anaheim Electronics is a civilian-owned company, makes cosmetics, vacation traveling plans, credit cards, consumer electronics, battleships, and even space colonies.
So it's a megacorp.
It's
Yeah,
Umbrella Corp.
they made zombies.
Well, Umbrella Corp also made cosmetics.
It's true for zombies.
Well, not for zombies, for people that would eventually become zombies.
Exactly.
Or mutants. I don't even know if you want to consider those people zombies.
I think it depends on the Resident Evil.
I mean, you can't be a zombie if you're not looking cute. Come on.
Yeah, well,
Clearly.
no, I think you need to have a cheerleader in your lineup if that's the case.
Yeah.
And a boyfriend coming off your hip. But yeah, why don't you go ahead and somebody remind us of what happened last time?
I do not remember the start, but I remember some key elements, so I'll jump in when I have those.
Oh yeah, that's helpful because I erased the last episode. Oh boy. Well, if I remember correctly, this is the setup for the Battle of Loum. And we do see the beginning of the Battle of Loum, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not
I mean,
confusing it
that's
with
the name of
Igloo.
the episode. The last
Yeah,
episode, though, was Battle of Loom.
yeah, yeah. Because I also was watching Igloo and get them both confused. Um, and this is, although we already saw Char's big debut, it's also the episode where we see his sister come back because she was a nurse tending to wounded people in one of the stations, and she gets a call that their adopted father is dying, and she goes. I hope this is the episode, not the episode before this. Is it this episode though?
Yes.
Okay, just to make sure, because it feels like it, 2 episodes back, but yeah. To
Because a big part of that whole scene was the fact that war had already been declared, and I believe the Earth had already been struck at that
well,
point, because that's when anyone who was connected with with those who started the war was being attacked and or having like cars ran into their house.
what actually happened was Operation British, which is the episode before, which is a colony drop. It was supposed to go to Jaburo, yeah, which is in Brasilia, but instead it landed in Australia and killed half of the population on Earth. So I think estimated about 4 billion people. That created a divide, or made the divide in the colonies worse. Most of them sided with Monzo, i.e., Zeon, but many were against it.
Just a quick
Uh,
clarification. It landed in
mhm.
3 different places, not
Yep.
just Australia. It also lands in Canada, which is great for one of us, and
I'm dead, guys.
the South Pacific. Sorry,
Yeah,
if
but the,
anybody has ever seen our previous reaction on this channel, which is me and Griffin, for some reason Griffin really wanted to argue this out, and I really remember that argument. So
yeah, but the still the bulk of it was it broke into pieces mainly because both on reentry and
the
also the Air Federation was firing upon it, trying to stop it, and
an
you know,
argument that I also had. Um, but no, it's the docking bay. The docking bay hits all Australia, but the thing
yeah,
breaks into 3 parts, and part of it hits
Yep.
Canada, and a bunch of the debris scattered across America. and then the other one hits South Pacific, causing tidal waves.
So they completely miss their intended target, kill billions, and not everybody in the colony is happy about that. First, because that was a colony that was against Zeon, and they all got murdered too, which probably about 1 million or 2 million people got murdered to turn the colony into a weapon. And so people who are not in the military but are against Zeon attack the colony of Texas. They start burning and looting, and eventually they go to the aznable household.
Well,
But
we go to T-Blow's house.
no, it was the aznable household.
No, the
T-Bow was
Aznables
there.
are already abandoned. No, because they come to say, oh no, they're burning down the Aznable household to Sayla, who's at T-Blow's house.
Yeah.
So here, it's very interesting because this is where Sayla sort of takes command, and you see a big change in her character. Like, no, we're gonna fight, and there's a big battle between the looters and the people who were, ostensibly on the side of Zeon, or just civilians defending the estate. But the battle ends because the colony from where they come from gets attacked by Zeon. So now they're stranded there, and they see explosion in the distance, and they're like, "Oh, we're stranded here." And they also took a lot of casualties. In fact, it turns out the Sayla was a great shot with a rifle. We didn't know about that, Those Zeon genes are strong in her. She actually takes out a couple of people with headshots.
Yeah.
And that leads to the Earth Federation retreating to the one colony that they can protect. Meanwhile, and I hope this is part of my memories, on side 5, I keep saying side 7 because I'm confusing with some other show. It's actually side 5, where Amuro is at.
No, side 7 is Amuro.
Side 7 is Amuro, and he's still a mess, right? He's still trying to figure out what to do with himself. And a group of kids come in. They've stolen a giant excavator, and they're like, "Oh, we want to see what's on the loading docks, whatever, blah blah blah." And they drag him with them, and they go there, and they're making a mess. And the automated defenses open up on the excavator, nearly killing these kids. And then when the military officials show up, it's like, "You little punks," and they start beating the living tar out of these kids for even daring to come anywhere near close. Because, that's the kind of adult leadership that we have from the EDF. I think everybody's pretty brutal in this show, if you think about it, with some exceptions. But they find Amuro's ID, and that he's connected. His dad is part of the project, and they're working on. It's like they hit him a couple of times, but once they got the ID, it's like, "Okay, you're good. You shouldn't be here. Go." And as he's standing there, they keep beating on the other kids, which, they're kind of bullies, so they kind of deserved it a little bit, but it was a little too much.
They didn't not entirely deserve it.
You heard it here first. Violence is always earned.
I mean, they deserve punishment. I don't think being beaten by adults to a pulp, where the next day we see them in school with giant bandages, and they're like, "Oh, swollen eyes and all that," and forcing the teacher, the headroom teacher, to, nervously apologize. "You shouldn't have done that." I'm like, like, "They're gonna kill me if I don't say this." Was a tad excessive, but that's just me. I could be wrong.
I'll be honest. I kind of spaced out during part of your recap because I said, when I corrected you about side 7, I'm like, yeah, because that's the side known as, and then just couldn't fucking remember the name of side 7, which I believe is Noah or something like that. It's a 4-letter N word.
Noah is a character, not a place, unless they might share a
No, I'm
place
pretty
and
sure
a
it's
name.
something like. Anyway, continue on. I'll just have to fucking look it up because I can't remember.
Before we jump past this point, in defense of the military, in times of multi-planet, multi-astral body war, don't try and sneak into a military base.
And they were not trying to sneak; they were just trying to barrel into it. Like,
they wanted to know. They just want to know
what was
there.
going on.
Also, I just looked it up. It is Noah. It's just without an H. NOA.
NOA, yeah.
Like, if there's one bad time to do that one thing, that's it. That's the worst time.
Conversely, though, when there's a war going on where entire colonies are being killed, and you live on, say, a colony, perhaps busting into the military base to figure out what the hell's going on, probably the best time.
Agree to disagree.
It depends on what movie you're in.
I mean, these
Fair
kids
enough.
did it because they were curious. They didn't do it because they were like, "Oh, we have to know what the military is doing to be prepared." Blah blah. Blah. They're like, "Oh, we just want to know what's going on. Hey, let's steal this thing. Let's go." And I'm always like, "You idiots."
I mean, it's the difference between Sneakers, Iron Eagle, or Close Encounters, right? You don't really know what you're gonna get when you sneak into the military base. It just depends on what movie you're in.
Yeah, or ET for that matter. Although the ET went sneak into the kid's house, but never mind.
Thing is, worst case scenario, the moment you get in that base, you're
get shot.
surrounded and you're being conscripted. No, getting shot's not worse than that, because that ends quickly.
Well, it depends on where you get shot. Just like which
Yeah.
movie you're in, it's very dependent.
Yeah.
If you're in a PG
It's-
movie, getting shot doesn't really mean much. That's a
This is not
Band-Aid,
PG.
and you go on.
Yeah, but this is not PG, so yeah, we've seen it. We've seen that this is not
Well,
PG at
okay,
all.
well, then we're using this as our example. We already snuck into a military base 2 episodes ago at the Dawn Rebellion. So
Yeah,
that worked out well, unless you're like a detective.
it wasn't really a sneaking in; it was a full-fledged battle. So
Oh, I mean, it was like an infiltration maneuver because they had a whole plan of not letting them know. It was like a Trojan horse scenario.
So,
yeah.
if those kids had done an infiltration maneuver, I wouldn't be as judgmental.
Also, I'm sure that because what happened in Munzo, the EDF was probably like, "Oh, kids are deadly. Let's not give them weapons. They can actually do something with them. Let's just not have them here at all." We don't know what's in there, but apparently it's very important.
Well, I mean, we do know what's in there. I mean, I don't think that's a Justin thing now because literally we see. You already described them punching the kids almost to death, and they say, "Oh, your dad is the leader of the project." And then last episode, we seen his whole presentation about what he's working on. Plus,
Yeah,
Amuro has seen everything in that one unlocked room, so
yeah.
we
Sure.
kind of know.
Well, we know we won't. Okay, kind of just in rule because until they show us exactly what's happening, we got to go like,
Okay, I just think it would be really weird if he was building it somewhere else.
true, true. Um. Anyway, the EDF is getting a butt kits because what's her name? Zeon deploys mobile suits and they go to plaster. Well, actually, no. I think the last shot is Char going to attack some ships.
Yes, it ends with Char going to attack because part of the episode earlier, or the previous episode, one of the two, was Char complaining to one of the technicians of why is there a limiter on this thing?
Yeah.
Well, it's literally just a, hey, remember the first episode, the first part of the first episode? Here's that. Really, what it felt like to me was a callback to Gundam Wing, because it's really just like Zex's first time in the Tall Geese.
And which is entirely not a copycat character from Char at all.
Well, yeah, but I
Anyway.
think he's the better one. If we were to do a Char clones that we've seen on the channel before, well, we couldn't because you and I and the rest of us here don't have the same experiences anymore, but I'd go Zex 100% of the time.
He started more heroic, I think. Definitely.
He's definitely
Anyway,
more grounded.
True. Also true. Anyway. So basically, the last scene is he's speeding through this collection of ships, and we don't see the ship firing, which leads me to believe that this is something that has been discussed in Origin, so it's not, not just a rule, that Minovsky particles made him undetectable, or at least untrackable. And so that's going to be a thing that now we're going to see. Because what happened was that the fleet retreated to protect the last of the loyal colonies, loyal to the EDF, which is, Site 7. And so they're like, "Oh, this is the only thing we got. We got a defense." It's like, "Oh, we should retreat." No. And that actually was, which is weird because they say General Rebel. I'm going to put an asterisk on that
I think it's pretty.
for
I'm
later
pretty
on.
sure they've said Admiral Revel a bunch of times.
No, but they call him General.
I don't know if they call him General once, but I know they've called him
Yeah.
Admiral a bunch of times.
Admiral.
Like when
Either way,
they're doing
Admiral
that
or
speech at the academy, they call him Admiral.
yeah. I think that's the aspect that I was like, wait a minute. I put an asterisk on that because that's an interesting, whether they're changing something or it's just
Nah,
something I'm misremembering.
If you heard, I'm saying if you're not misremembering, then it's probably just a one-time error because they've called him Admiral a bunch of times.
Anyway,
I guess other thing is that they didn't actually just like retreat to the one colony that they're fighting at. They're actively like stationed there because we have learned that they have more military might than the entire Zeon fleet does, to the point that like one of their split off fleets is stronger than the entire Zeon navy, as it were.
Yeah.
So they're kind of doing our whole split thing. The only reason I'm bringing that up is because it popped into my mind while you were saying the Minovsky particle thing. I don't think that's an example of the whole not being able to use radar thing. I think it's just one, he's attacking the back line, so those ships might not just be in range to fire at anything yet. And what we're seeing from his perspective is that he's just booking it right through them. So it might just be so fast we're not seeing anything react to him.
I think he's going full Sonic mode. Just going.
Well, because we're getting that whoosh, 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 whoosh.
Oh,
thing.
you mentioned about the strength. There is a scene with the elder Zabi and the youngest Zabi. And we have the youngest Zabi panicking because, there's been some casualties. It's like, because somebody's saying, well, our ships are smaller and they're more maneuverable, blah, blah. And then they start getting blown up. It's like, what do you mean more maneuverable, you idiot?
Well, he
they're
says that
getting blown up.
Yeah, they're designed to be able to, like, deflect hits.
Yeah.
And then it's like, you should see one on screen, just fucking gets hit and blows up. And he's like, what was that? And he's like, well, it must have been a direct hit. It's like, oh.
And his dad is like, shut up, kid. You're making me.
Well, Garma is saying I should be out there with them. That's his thing. He's freaking out because he's sitting back watching people die and not doing something.
Instead of being out there dying, he's watching people die.
Which is always, even when he was part of the battle of the rebellion, the Dawn Rebellion, he was an artillery guy, so he's always a backup guy. He was still in the battle though.
Well, yeah, remember that's where Char put him.
Yeah, well, that's what he's good at, right? That's what he's shown to be good at. That was his original assignment as well.
Well, anybody that has like any respect for their longevity in the Zeon organization is not going to put Garma in a position he could get hurt. Well, you won the day, but it looks like Garma got a giant-ass scar on his face, so I'm going to have you and your whole family killed.
Yeah. That was his brother who assigned him. And he turns out to be a good artilleryman. So at least he knows his stuff. He could have messed it up and killed his own people. If you don't know what you're doing with artillery, it becomes from, how is it? The shell with your name on it to whom it may concern.
Yeah.
So he did his job well. But
Yeah. Sorry, I'm also now in the position that you were in previously, trying to remember what we saw versus what's in my memory. Because there's something I want to say about this, and I can't remember if it's something we've seen yet or not. So, leave that one where it lies. Well, that's our recap. So,
unless I forgot something, anything I left behind?
Not that I can think of.
Okay.
Nothing of value, I guess. I think you said everything important.
I'm sure the comments will tell us, like, no, you forgot about this and this and this and this.
Yeah, no, the comments will tell us what brand of soda they drink. Anyway, let's we got the board here, obviously. It's like 30 minutes before we started recording, I just noticed, oh shit, there's a bunch of spoilers I left on here. It's like, so I went through and hopefully I eliminated all of the spoilers. But otherwise, we have the couple in love. Oh, wait, they're dead. We have. Oh,
Hey, they
yeah.
can be dead and in love.
No, I think one precludes the other.
I mean, the love died with them, I guess.
Yeah, everlasting love is only everlasting if you're immortal. Yeah, no, Fraw's mother. Sorry, having a hard time remembering who got introduced last episode. Obviously, Tia Nem
Yeah,
got introduced. My want to say Tiananmen every time. It's just, I don't know.
that was his fleet. In fact, it was like, oh, it's Cinnamon Fleet, like the
Yeah, we're
square. No,
losing
no, no, no.
the Chinese viewers every time.
Mhm.
We're not making it through that firewall, folks. Yeah, otherwise, I mean, there's just a bunch of layout changes because obviously I'm trying to make it closer to the board that it will
Ah,
eventually be.
Yeah.
I see Hayato Kobayashi. I'm like, oh, the Kobayashi Maru. Oh, that bodes well.
Yeah. Obviously the white tier connection between all of them over here. I don't think anyone else. Oh, wait, no, Tachi was 2 episodes ago. Never mind. I was going to mention Tachi and Sayla thing, but that's. But yeah, I don't think there's anything else. Oh, right, obviously, Zena marries Dozel. I don't know. That was last episode, right? Yeah, that was last episode.
Yeah, because he's
Yeah.
like, and we do see an interesting change with those. Who's like, oh, I can't believe I did all these things. It's horrible too. Like in the flip side, well, if you're not strong enough, then you cannot defend your family. They were not strong enough, so they died. Can you give me more babies, honey? And she's like, you're gonna
Well,
wake up the baby
he
already.
was
You know?
rationalizing. Yeah, he was
Mhm.
rationalizing. I've killed so many Manivas or whatever her name is. How would I do such a thing? And it's like, oh yeah, no, it's their fault I killed all their babies. They had been
Yeah.
stronger men. And of course, yes, I understand there's a spoiler here in that I've had to use an older picture of her. So, yes, she does not die as a baby. Well, I mean,
Understood.
it was what I did the first time. I'm just kind of repeating myself now. I didn't find a picture of her as a baby, so I
Yeah.
just put her on the board as this.
Dosa is a doting but clumsy parent. I mean, he's still like 19, so he's like, well, he married young and doesn't even know much about babies, I guess. You know, and Cena is the one who's like, you gotta calm down.
Well, he's a
Yes, we can
product
have
of his
sex
own
later.
upbringing.
Yeah, Cena's like, we can have sex later, but you gotta wait for the baby to sleep, go to sleep, and don't wake her up. That's the
Also, the
biggest
other
mood killer.
the other two generals that were at that meeting that you brought up, where we saw like the layout of all the ships or the numbers of every ship. Otherwise, I don't know. Was Kuzan introduced this episode or the previous episode? I can't remember.
I mean, if these are the no, I know Clamp in this episode joins the military. It's like, oh, I'm gonna
Well,
go.
then it was
I'm
this
out.
episode. Well,
Yeah,
he's former. Remember, because he always talks about time with Ramba before this, so
yeah,
he's re-enlisting, and that's when
yeah,
Nakuzan shows up and says, "I enlisted so I'd be able to serve with you," and then you had to go and, you know, his whole thing with Dozel rather.
yeah.
Sorry, every time I say Dozel's name, I think of oh god, what is Fraggle Rock? The Fraggles. You have the Doozles.
Mm. I mean, I remember watching the Fraggles. I don't remember the connection, but that's fine.
Yeah, the Doozles were the tiny things that built their
Oh yeah, yeah,
buildings
yeah,
out of the
yeah.
stuff
Out
the
of
Fraggles ate.
the sugar crystal things.
Yeah, just in my head because of his fucking name. Anyway, so yeah, that is the board, and of course I've got the follow up comments for everything that happened last episode.
Hell yeah.
In the recap of last episode, they did a good job depicting Ramba blaming the Earth Federation for the fall of his family, as per what he says in the brawl with the officers during the karaoke. Uh, that goes away towards a ways rather explaining his allegiance to the Principality of Zeon. I feel like I'm either forgetting something or missing something to explain why he helped smuggle his father and the kids away from Munzo, knowing the danger the people and the zombies posed to them. The only thing I can think is that at the end of the first episode, Caecilia captures Hamon and Ramba in the spaceport, and we cut away from them. Maybe she did something that made Ramba side with Zeon and let everything go from before.
I think Rumba is very interesting because I think his loyalties had always been divided in a way. He loves his father, although he thinks he's an idiot. But it's like, okay. But first and foremost, he was a Sion military guy, always.
Well, no, he was a
Right.
Munzo Defense Force.
Monster Defense
Correct.
Force, so
Well, I mean,
so first
that
and
exists
foremost,
before the zombies
Mhm.
take over. So his
Yeah.
allegiance is to Munzo, but that
Mhm.
gets shafted or shifted, depending on how you want to look at that, when the
Shifted.
zombies take over the
Yeah.
political
Yeah.
aspect.
And also remember who it's. I would bet that Dolza intervene on his behalf, and I know, like it seems that these two families actually knew each other closely, so he kind of knows Dolso is not the same as his sister or his brothers. It's like, okay, I'll work with you.
Well, we didn't see any connection between Dozel and Ramba before that.
But the way they talk to each other and the way they act seems to be like they know each other. At least they know each other by reputation and nothing else,
Well,
right?
he's one of the zombie kids. I think he's just famous.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah,
my
I think
implication. Sorry, you go ahead, Justin.
I think the knowledge of anybody they were seeing with rank
Mm-hmm.
can easily be general knowledge understanding versus being a hey, I know you from before.
Also, I mean, these are two powerful families. I mean, I'm sure they went to parties and events and cross
My
paths again.
my point is that we see Haman and Ramba get confronted by Cassilia in the spaceport, and then next time we see Ramba, he's serving with the Zeons.
Oh, next time we saw him, he's in the bar, and then he gets called to
Well,
serve.
he's attacking Earth Federation people in the bar.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's not like choosing a side. My point is that he got away from Caecilia, and we don't know the circumstances therein, and then later he goes and joins Zeon. So it feels like there was some sort of agreement made in that hangar bay that let everybody just get away.
I think it's very much possible, but hmm. I don't know.
The news report in the opening states that the Hate government issued a relief request to the Federation and that any other side, sorry, to the Federation and any other side, as the Zeon attack encompasses almost all of Hate's
Muted.
Banshee. Oh,
Oh,
sorry.
you cut off. You cut off. I don't know if you let go of the talk. The bottom will get started. I stopped
Here, well,
looking
here's
here.
a quick question. Justin, did you hear me cut off?
Nope.
Okay, so it's our
But
internet problem thing again.
yeah, yeah.
Do we want to try that thing from before, or we just hang up and you call
No, no, no,
me?
no. Go ahead, go ahead. Just since I was seeing your face, I couldn't figure out what you were saying because I was watching something else. So
Okay.
it was my bad. I can figure out where you're going if I hear you enough. And like, okay, this is what he's.
Okay. I'm just trying to avoid any problems going forward because this is an hour episode. So,
Yeah.
the fighting we see is the last-ditch defense of the capital Banshee, of which even the news says they are at a clear disadvantage. It mentions Side 6, Riha, as remaining neutral, as we know, but includes Side 7, Noah, as not in the fight since its construction has only just begun. Side 7, as we know, is where Amaru and gang are. It's weird. I searched my notes when I was having that discussion before about what Side 7's name was, and could not find it in my own notes.
Hmm.
So yeah, just an update on the news of the show, telling us which sides are neutral and which aren't. There has to be something said for the visibility of space, maybe less so from Earth to the sides, but maybe the moon to the sides, and the giant windows in the sides that face each other. That all of this fighting and the threats made against one by Banchai by another are super visible. If someone launches an attack against the next Banchai over, you are not only going to get to see it, but know how close you are to the danger, and know exactly how little protection you have from one stray explosion sucking you out into the vacuum of space, or suffer what the people of Island Ifish had to go through.
I mean,
100%.
yeah, it's
Straight terrifying.
just interesting how big space is, and yet this feels uh very close to home. Like people could probably look out the window, and go like, "Oh, where are they taking that colony? Uh-oh,
Yeah, they
they
had
can
to
do
see
that to
that thing
them.
moving.
If they can do that to them, they can do that to us." And
Well, that's
that's
the
not
threat,
good.
right? That's
Mhm.
why very few people are going with Earth or going neutral, because it's like, I'm right next to these assholes. I can't let my backyard get thrown at Earth.
It's not even just that too. We've not seen a show of force with mobile suits from the Earth forces.
Well, other than the Iron Cavalry.
Yeah, but that was on a small scale. Like they got wiped out.
Yeah, because I mean, kind of the proof of why we're not investing in the Iron Cavalry, or they
Mhm.
look like uh Justin Rule. They look
Uh,
like Justin Rule, is what I'm gonna say.
Yeah, I
but
mean, I think they
so
are, but yeah,
even if you're coming at it from the angle of the other sides, you're up against something that you're like, well, we're kind of fucked. What's that thing?
also you have to think that it wasn't just simply Zeon or Munzo that was at the receiving end of the EDF either being callous or oppressive, right? Other people probably suffer the same kind of disdain that the EDF's shown for people, right?
I mean,
Even
that's
if
why
it's
I've
just
said that I would like a background series about this background series. I'd love to see like the second generation colonists like dissatisfied with the Earth Federation representation on the colonies, and like, just like
and
a real
also that
political thing.
also depends. Yeah, you mentioned second generation. You might have these newer colonies like Side 7 being built recently, and they are full of people who are from Earth, or they got the job because Earth it was investing money in making these sites. So their economic and social standing is very tied to Earth. While older colonies like Munzo are like, yeah, but we established ourselves. We have our own factories, we have our own thing, we have our own trade. You guys keep, treating us like second class citizens, right? Kind of very much I mean, this is very much like American Revolution kind of thing. You have some elites who are being they feel that they're being mistreated and not treated like full citizens. So eventually they go like, well, screw you, we're gonna do our own thing, right? While the average person, some of them were loyalists, some of them were, patriots, right? And they're like, well, I'm doing fine. I have I have my business and everything, and I'm loyal to the king. So I don't know what your problem is. And like, oh, the king must die because blah blah. And you're like, oh, okay. How about we don't do that? And I
My
have a musket
my
for me to
brain
show you
is
that I don't want to do that.
my brain is of no value today. I'm telling you that. You started talking about the king, and I started going into the musical, and then you said, "Hey, it's amazing. Space is kind of big," and my brain went to the BBC radio intro for Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. And it's like
Yeah.
my brain's just drifting off. I will say there are some deeper thoughts I will have about the thing you just said. Unfortunately, right now they sit into the Justin rule, in which I could speculate with you, but unfortunately my problem is that I have very good knowledge about exactly what the political and, just living ramifications of what you're talking about are in universe. I just can't fucking talk about them.
Yeah.
Alright. The talk between Ramba and Dozel was pretty damn good. We had Ramba lamenting the attack against Hate early on, then later wishing he had at least been present for the fleet attack. He references the fact that Zeon Deikun would never have ordered this war, and I can only think he meant the war on Hate, and not specifically the war altogether. Zeon was a space noid supremacist, to my read, so the war against the Earth Federation might be debatable, but maybe he wouldn't want to fight the other space noids. Either way, Ramba and Dozal easily encompass a representative debate over the bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Ramba representing the immoral, inhumane, and unnecessary nature of it, with his previous lament at the sight of the entirely one-sided battle in space, reinforced by his comments about this being the devil's work, and Dozal representing the pragmatic need for a swift end, that the deaths need not be in vain, and that the war could be ended in a single strike. It is such a beautifully encapsulated scene that I don't have much more to add to it, other than to say that these feel like the perfect two characters to have had it.
Agreed.
I mean, Doso is trying to convince Rambo, but also I think he's trying to convince himself as well. Like, this is what I've been told. This is what we're doing. I don't know if I really believe it, but either I do it or not. And that's followed up by he himself saying later on, "We're now war criminals. Either we win or we end up in prison, right? Or we die.
Or we
Right?
find ourselves at the end of a noose. Well, I
Yeah.
mean, again,
So
that's what makes him so perfect for the argument. You know, the person who's not 100% on board has to then justify the necessary evil, or from the perspective that they're taking, the necessary evil. It makes them a better person for the debate than, say, pulling out Girin, who is just going to pull out facts and figures. Girin doesn't care about the moral or the ethical or even the human toll. Girin just fucking cares about ending everything and having it done. You know?
I think the more interesting part about that entire debate is that it happens one step too late. By the time it happens, they've already sunk in what they've done.
It doesn't, though. Ramba's
because
debating before it happens.
because
we
Doso
see
wants
the
Ramba to be part of the operation.
well,
And
we
he
see the
literally says,
GG
"No,
tanker thing flying in, which is also, by the way, a note I had to delete because that's also Justin Rule. But we see that thing flying in, which is literally the time to stop it if you are going to. We can leave this at normal war casualties and stop it before it becomes war crime casualties.
And also, Doso is trying to convince Ramba to participate in it. He's not saying, "Oh, we already done this." Like, no, I want you to lead this operation. And Ramba goes like, no, I'm not. And he punches the display, and Sparks is like, "I'm not gonna be part of this. You want to arrest me? You want to kill me? Fine, but I'm not gonna be part of this." And he just flies, kind of hovers off.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like the whole group guilt thing, right? You were complicit. Yeah. We were all fucking complicit. None of us can say a damn thing about each other because we all did this together. Yep. So you have somebody standing on the outside, like, they just seem like, oh, you're better than us, you know?
And that happens after an attack on another colony where they just destroy the entire colony and kill everybody. So, it's like, you participated in that attack. Yeah, but that, they were against it. You killed all those people. Yes, but that was part of it's like, now you're complaining you killed a million plus people or more, and now you're complaining about doing this. It's like, well, this is a step too far. Like I say, it's a very interesting argument.
I mean, it also stands directly opposed to the whole Nuremberg defense, right? Clearly, just following orders is no longer a valid defense. We have examples of people who didn't.
Yeah.
Well, just following orders has never been a valid defense.
No, it was typically an acceptable defense before the World Court took a step in.
I mean, it was a valid defense for junior officers because the idea was that they did not have enough information, and no military wanted to create a situation where junior officers or men defied an order on a whim, right? However, what the Nuremberg trial established was that when confronted with the facts, when this is wrong, it's illegal, and it's and you know the repercussions of it, you cannot fall back on the idea that I'm just following orders. Like, oh, I did it because somebody told me. Yeah, but you knew what you were doing. If you hadn't known, up to the point you didn't know, it's a defense. The moment you know that it's an illegal order or or committing a war crime or crime against humanity, that's the moment you should stop, right?
By the way, for anybody watching this, go back and watch our reaction to Gundam Seed, where we have a pretty long discussion about what is a war crime and the moral and ethical duty to stand up against what is a war crime.
Yeah.
True.
And your minimal duty is not to stop it. Ironically enough, it's not to participate in it. That's your minimal duty. But the implied duty is that you should do something to stop it.
Because if you look at it, even before the point where there was laws, the world court and laws put in place for such actions, even at that point, the only outcomes are not that great. Because one, you take part, horrible things, war criminal. Two, you refuse, you have to go back to that country that you come from where you go AWOL. And then what do you have? When you go back, you're obviously going to have to be under scrutiny based off the fact that you did not take said orders.
I mean, you could get arrested and even shot as a deserter.
Exactly.
Like, oh, we're gonna either put you in prison or we're gonna kill you right here and there and here.
Well,
You know.
much like the movie thing, it really depends on what time of the year of the world you're in, right?
Yeah.
Getting shot for desertion. Well, I don't know. I don't know.
In this series, the only reason why Rao is alive is because Dolsa was not the kind of man that would shoot him right there. Any other Zabi or any other officer would have shot or arrested Rao right there. This is the kind of series where people are pretty brutal. I mean,
I
it's the kind
don't
of
know
series
about
where
that though. I don't think we have a lot of qualmsims in this show. That's a cross reference, by the way. I'm cross pollinating.
oh,
they're
willing to kill it. They were willing to kill everybody in the castle, including the casvals, because they were talking to Anaheim.
Yeah,
so
that's different.
No, I mean
we're talking about desertion. We're talking about the difference between desertion and you're talking about targeted assassination, which is a crime.
Yeah, it could be a war crime too, depending on the situation. But I'm talking about the overall tone of the series. This is not that kind of series where they go like, "Oh well, sure, whatever." Because it's like the moment you think that's going to happen, the next episode they killed everybody involved, right? Oh yeah, no, casval might be going around. Well, we're going to blow up an entire spaceship with a lot of people in it.
Again, that's really entirely depends on who you're talking about. Caecilia, yeah, fucking, you're dead. But Dozle, obviously not.
Well, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I said.
I mean, Giran, it's fucking up in the air. You might just be in the
Yeah.
brig for the rest of your life with Giran.
Yeah. Dozle, but like I said, if it had been anybody else with Dozle, yeah, I think he would have been in big trouble.
That's what I'm saying. You're saying it's the tone of the show, and I think it's more the tone of the characters. Because the show kind of broad spectrum.
And in fact, Rao goes back to the bar, and we were expecting, if people go back and watch that episode, a grenade to come down the stairs.
Well, again, pointedly, those were Caecilia's men. That's why I expected a grenade. Caecilia is like no fucks given, right? Caecilia killed her own brother with a bomb.
Caecilia is a black hole of fucks to give.
That's what I'm saying.
She takes them.
When it comes to the rest, when it comes to the rest, though, who knows? Dozle expect to be. Look, I'll even say it right now because it's a future note I have. Dozle at home had real Winnie the Pooh meets Vegeta energy.
Weird sentence to hear. Fully agree.
I'm just saying. Anyway. I was confused as to why Loum was such a problem for the Zeons, considering how close it was to them. Evidently, they had been promised major Federation support. Later, we see that the Federation fleet is visible above Miranda, Loum's capital, Banshee. That's when they started opening fire on pro-Zeon protesters and forcibly evacuating them. And aside, but also a crime against humanity by UN definitions to mass deport an entire population from a place. Uh, I think only wrote that down as an indication that, hey, look, the Earth Federation's kind of bad too. I'm doing the reverse
Yes,
Trump here. There's bad people on both sides.
I mean
I'm talking.
it's also, you can make another World War II argument about what's called detention, right? Incarceration and detention, what they did with Japanese and Germans and Italians in Britain, what they did to Japanese in the United States. Like, you have this population who's potentially, if not entirely hostile. I mean, I'm not advocating it for myself. I'm just making the argument. Okay, just make sure. I think it was very wrong and it backfired in many ways.
Here's where lessons is, but here's where his argument. Sorry, here's where lessons is. Here's where his argument is. Sorry, I'm not doing this in a mirror. I mean to say that lessons over here on the left, his arguments over here on the right. Make sure you remember that these two things are different.
Exactly. The argument made back then, including supported by the United States Supreme Court during the war, not after, was that these were hostile populations that could host saboteurs, spies, and that sort of thing. Which is ironic because there were Japanese spies in Pearl Harbor, and those Japanese spies deliberately avoided the first and second generation Japanese population because they knew they could be found out. Right? The FBI and others were watching the population. It was like it was too obvious, so they did their own thing. Aside from it, but the idea is that if you have a group of people, right, who have these sympathies, open sympathies. I mean, who's to say that whether starting fistfights in bars and riots, all the way to sabotage and even trying to take over the colony. Right? So that's the argument for separating. It's still a war crime because it's collective punishment, right? It's you're, and also forcing people off their homes. It's a war crime, right? Depossessing them, forcing them to become refugees. But under the situation, there is a fig leaf of an argument that we say, listen, better for them to leave. Right? They're going to go to where Zeon is anyway. We're not leaving them in the middle of space. They're going to leave, and that makes it easier for us. Right? So I don't know. In universe, if I had been the leader or commander of that, and people, I would have encouraged people to self-deport, which
I
is
mean, they're getting
actually
shot at in the streets already anyway. So
yeah.
well, anyway, I was actually still in the middle of this thought.
Go ahead.
I'm talking about the forcible relocation of an entire population and not so much maybe opening fire on peaceful protesters. That aside, it's also why the Federation supporters in Texas that attacked the Aznable and Tiblo houses later in the episode and were so emboldened to do so. Also of note, the moment before Sayla takes charge of the house's defenses, the look on her face was exactly like Casval's when he took command of the gun tank in episode 1.
Yep.
I mean, I think she always had it in her, and that she was helping refugees and stuff like that. She wasn't necessarily prone to violence, but she has always shown an ability to do what she can and to do what needs to be done, especially in the absence of her brother.
There is very specifically a train of thought that I've had to delete out of all of these notes that involves something I wanted to discuss and discussed a lot the previous time around that is just in rule now because the show hasn't proposed it in any, well, maybe it has, in a writing that I had both of you read before, but not directly. So we would have had it across a bunch of episodes now, and I just haven't been able to bring it up. But I think that that look in Sayla's face is just a connective tissue to that long lost thought.
Of which I have several, which all of them go fall just in rule too. So yeah.
Yeah, we just gotta wait until the show gives us. It's gonna be like a flood dam for every little thing, right? Oh, the show talked about it once. Now I can say all the things. But yeah, it's kind of funny that Gurin came up with Operation British, but also proposed to punish the people that carried it out and oversaw its operation, recognizing how unimaginably awful it was and was trying to distance himself from it, but still having done it.
Kieran is somebody who's always been shown to have a finger on the pulse of the population and willing to manipulate them. So the idea that he was like, "Oh, we're gonna do some punishment, right? But not too harsh," It's like, we admit that this is like, and it kind of helps coaching. It's like, well, we didn't do it because we wanted to, because just we're gonna murder people. It's because we really had to.
Oh no,
And
no, I'm
and
talking about punishing the people responsible for doing it.
yes,
He
but
comes
remember
up with
also
a
the
plan to do Operation British, and then in
yeah.
a meeting with his general says, "We're gonna punish the people who did that act." It's like us. He talking about us? The
And
same
but
meeting
also
that Dozel brings up. We're gonna get hanged for this.
yeah, but also the fact that it also was a failure, right? So it could be double. It's like, yes, you did a bad thing, but also you failed, you morons. You failed to hit a giant base in the Amazon. How do you fail to hit a big piece of the planet Earth?
I said this last episode. I'm gonna bring it up here again for anyone that skipped it. He isn't skipping this for some reason. Uh, again, I think the Earth Federation fucked it all up. Their fleet coming out and attacking Island Iffish for like, what was it, 3 days? Knocked it off
I mean,
course.
they're not gonna take the hit though, because that's their headquarters.
No,
And
no, no,
even
I
okay,
understand. I'm saying that they knocked it off course, which caused it to break up, and also did extreme damage to it, which caused it to break up into the atmosphere, separating its damage all throughout. Because we had the debate before, I think last episode, specifically about what would cause more damage if it hit one spot or hit all the spots, like it did. So,
also, I think that wiping out the Brazilian rainforest would have been bad for everybody, because they do mention that one of the things about the casualties is starvation and displacement and loss of resources and government and all that. So it's not just the impact; it was the after effect. Imagine just, oh, we just lost the lungs of the planet. Well, I guess everybody's gonna die now.
yeah, thank God we all
Like
live on
honestly,
space stations.
yeah. I mean,
True.
for the people on Earth.
Yeah, well, we don't give a
The
shit about them.
billions.
Where's Zeon? Well, you remember, I guess. Remember that my character this way is drawn as Giran, and you're drawn as somebody we haven't met yet, but you're on Earth Federation. So obviously, your argument's got to be Earth side,
Yeah.
unless we're doing left side, right side lessons again.
Not for this though.
Yeah.
Not for
So
this.
I'm just saying, I'm not blaming them for missing. I'm blaming the Earth Federation for missing. Arguably, I say the Earth Federation fucked up. They should have, they had 3 days, right? Attached as many ships as they could to Island Iffish and just full powered the other direction, or sideways, or, any other deep impact scenario.
They should have attacked it. Well, I guess they couldn't attack it when they attached the retro rockets, so because it was under the protection of the Zeon fleet.
Yeah.
But eventually, the Zeons pull back, so that's a moment. Don't wait until it's low Earth orbit. Send your ships and try to do
Well, I
something
said they were
about it.
attacking it for 3 days. They
Yeah.
could have, like I said, they had their whole fleet there. Our fleet shot at it for 3 days. And go figure, it was so fucking big. All we did was slightly damage it. You push it. Put your ship right next to it and then slowly start to try and push it.
Do a Rogue One. It's still a massive object. Pushing it might not work. You still, even in space, you have to overcome mass. Right.
Right. That's why I veered from pushing backwards and trying to stop it to just trying to shift its direction. Shooting it for 3 days obviously made it veer off in a direction. Think about if you were trying to make it veer off in a direction. Alright, I only have 3 of these left, by the way. I'm still confused by Lieutenant Tachi. Seems like we have another world's greatest detective situation going on. What with him acting ahead of Kycelia on behalf of either himself, Rawl, or Sayla. And we know what happened to the last world's greatest detective, especially one that butted into casval's affairs.
He is. I think he was better positioned to know this, since he was part of the operation to to rescue them. The question is, what happens afterwards? If he had a line, and we know that Cassilia was keeping an eye on them, so if he was working with Cassilia, the question is, how much of that information he knew about, right? And the cutoff point would be when Char gets killed, the actual Char, right? That's the leap.
Well,
The
what's
leap
his
is
goal?
okay. I think he's a supporter of Char. He's a supporter of Zeon, a supporter of his father.
So
I mean, you know
follow
that that's
through to the end statement there, where we know that happens to everybody that butts into Casval's affairs. So World's Greatest Detective is going to get World's Greatest Detective.
well, he's not close to Char,
Yeah,
and he's using his sister.
I
Like,
guess
oh,
to be fair, then he's better.
you do the digging. You do the digging. I have just given you information that may or may not true. I believe your brother is still alive. I can't prove it, and I'm not gonna stick my head out of to make sure because either Casilia or Char or a third person is gonna cut it off, and I'm not that brave. But you may be able to
Say in
see
that
what's
way, he
happening.
must be better than Lino because he didn't go to Char with it. He went with Char's sister. Yeah, maybe she
I
will push
think
me
most
downstairs.
people are better than Lino because I think Lino had a moment of like, "Oh my god, I figured something out,"
Well,
and
no,
then got
Lino
excited,
like
and
tested.
then
He
Yeah,
tested
he
all of
tested
his
it.
results. Plus, you gotta give him credit for somehow figuring out Casval was Char. He had Char sorry, no, the other way around. That what is his original name? I suddenly forgot.
Casval. Casval.
Yeah, sorry, Edward. The figuring out that Edward was Char, because that
That's
was
not
the
no
connection that
Casval.
was.
Casval is his original name,
No,
not Edward.
no, I know. Follow what I'm saying. I
Yeah.
said that he was go right for figuring out that Edward was Char, because
yeah,
that's the connection he would make. He would have no fucking idea that Casval was Edward.
Yeah, that's the part that was a leap. Yeah.
Sorry, I obviously have everyone's secondary names on the board, so that's what I was peering at real quick. I prided myself for so long for remembering everyone's full names. Now get it all fucked up. No, yeah. Lino figured out that Edward was Char. Easy enough, right? The eyes are different. He doesn't know anything about high school. I mean, not even easy enough. That's pretty fucking hard. Give it to the guy. But he doesn't submit any information for knowing how Casval is Edward. It's like he suspects every blonde-haired, blue-eyed kid must have been Casval.
Maybe he had a face recognition software run on Casval. Like, how would it look if he was 5 years old? Okay, let's see. 10 years old. 15. Oh, okay, that looks familiar.
Sorry, my wandering brain went to that Simpsons thing where they say if you don't get if you don't get braces, this is what they look like. 20 years old, got teeth coming out the side of your face. Wandering brain, sorry. Dozo's battle plan, given last episode, confuses me with what we saw happening in the flash forwards of the first episode. Dozel is retreating from the TNM fleet, which lines up with his plan insofar that he's losing the fight he's in. But he says that a special regiment is meant to circle around and assault Rebels' fleet. Yeah, which we also saw. The part that confuses me is that both events seem to be happening in the same location, and according to all the lead up that I could see, they should be separated by some distance and be in two separate engagements.
I guess well, yeah, because everybody, well, I think the order was given to rendezvous at Loum to protect it
Well, you're talking Earth
and
Federation.
Federation. And that I think, and the idea was to bait the smaller fleet away so that when the special regiment, i.e., the mobile suits hit, it has maximum effect, right? Psychological effect.
We have
But that doesn't get really explained,
what, one fleet at Loum, one fleet heading towards an
At
engagement.
Luna. When Luna, yeah.
Well, I think they kept. Oh, no, they must, because they're sending reinforcements to Loum, so that's the
Mhm.
split off. And you have the main force heading forwards, and I think they've already merged with the forces that launched from Jaburo. So my memory is split here. I think they're split off into three sections: the Earth Force fleets, because they have.
I think it was all
Yeah,
three,
yeah,
yeah,
because
but
you have Rebels fleet, you have Tiananmen's fleet, and then you have the split off that goes to support Loum. So it's three different sections. Now, 2 of those are already in 2 different places, because Rebel's fleet, I think, is the one launching from Earth. TNM's fleet is the one that's coming from Loum? Or it's coming from somewhere. And they're already separated, and we already know that Zeon's plan is to full on with the entire Zeon fleet attack one of these, which is already stronger than theirs, and use their special garrison or whatever to attack the back of the other fleet, which is separated by quite some distance. And what we saw happening in the show, they're both in the same engagement, like in the same place. Like one person leaves one place and is in the other place.
Yeah.
Well, that's what's
It's a big,
confusing.
it is. Yeah. I hear what you're saying. I'm not going to argue against it because I don't have any information to argue against it. So
Well, the only reason I bring it up is the show spends a lot of time like on, hey, here's a whole thing breakdown of how many big ships they have and how many medium ships they have and small ships, and here's a map and here's exactly what's going to happen. And then we see it and it's like, that's not what's happening.
we'll find out this episode.
All right, well, my last
Indeed.
one here. I appreciate that Garma, though manipulated, has led his troops into battle before, and that here in the face of Degwin's words, values his troops' lives and wants to be out there with them rather than sitting back in the safety with his father. It's a very Dozal attitude as well.
Yes.
But yeah, any other last thoughts before we get into this? After all, this is the last episode of Origin. Last chance to say something before something happens.
I'm looking forward to it. It's been a ride, and I liked almost everything about it. Actually, I like everything about it.
I mean, I've been on record of saying this is my favorite Gundam series. Like, I loved Witch Mercury. I fucking cried when Witch Mercury said, "This is the end of the story." And I knew there was nothing else coming. It is like, I think this might be number 1. So, anyway, let's go ahead and get into it.
Hell yeah.
But before we get started,
Make sure that you hit the like button.
Hit that subscribe button.
Comment down below to feed that algorithm.
on top of all that, if you want to watch more shows like this,
Unfiltered.
Uncensored.
And uncut.
as well as some early access stuff,
You can check it out over on the Patreon.
It's just $5 a month, but hey, no pressure.
There's zero pressure in order to do that. It's just a little bit of extra support, and it would be greatly appreciated.
I will say that one scene, though, really does make me want to rewatch G Gundam. Not G Gundam. Gundam Way. Though I do actually want to watch Gundam Wing, too.
地球連邦政府からの独立を要求して宣戦を布告した。
I'm just also just haphazardly talking because we know we got 10 minutes to recap.
Yeah. No, because are we getting a full recap or?
It's the last
don't
episode,
think
right? So
Probably.
they want you to know everything.
その戦果がまだ及んでいないサイド7で
I mean, it's still better than a Macross recap.
としていた会に巻き込まれたアムロは父テムの仕事が連邦軍の軍事開発関連だと知らさ
Gotta
れ
appreciate, though, the slow-mo fall before he gets punched.
Slow-mo falls are always fun. There's our friend that was waving a death flag from the beginning.
内部の市民を化学兵器 WG ガスで抹殺し、その首都番地のコロニーを地球に落とすブリティッシュ作戦を実行する。
Game.
So, mass murder, weapon of mass destruction, and turning a colony into a weapon of mass destruction. Yay.
Yeah, but war crimes are afraid of the same rules that advantage disadvantage do. You only get one. And they cancel each other out.
Sure.
Yeah, we had the Zeon Mother Teresa. That gets rid of Operation British, I'm pretty sure. Remember that a helicopter was landing behind her as this was like said.
Yeah.
I can barely hear you guys sometimes, and you're right in my ear, let alone a helicopter going off.
It's interesting that they chose to have these ships fly from Earth, or like rockets from the surface of the Earth, and not have spaceborne
Probably meant to be hidden,
dockyards.
like a secret
Yeah.
fleet.
I guess so.
Also, you know, if we had hit target, those would be gone too. Also, good work, helmet.
Oh yeah, that poor guy.
Yeah. That poor guy that was going to set fire to a building full of just people.
All I'm saying is he got shot,
6 days for my
felt the
birthday.
pain of the shot, then got lit on fire.
Is it 29th?
Yeah.
Which is 5 days after my birthday. Are you in the other direction, or?
Oh, 29, yeah.
No, you said 6 days away from your birthday. I say, are you in the other direction, or are you forwards?
Forwards.
Okay. So 11 days away from mine.
The red comet.
There you go. Rise of the Red Comet.
They said the thing.
Yeah.
I'm gonna pretend like it was planned out that way.
Yeah, I know Zeon's my faction and everything, but I got our ships looked awful.
Yeah, they ain't pretty.
I mean, it's part of the era, the sort of rocket ship style.
I know, we've already
Maybe
discussed
it-
this, that it was like the Flash Gordon jet things.
放射しつつ3回転進ここが勝負どころだぞ遅れるな
I'm just saying, it really makes you appreciate Star Destroyers.
It absolutely does. Also, imagine the amount of money being blown up right now.
I think you said that last time, too.
It's possible.
敵さらに陣形が崩れますまだ応射してきている船がある集中砲火を浴びせろ
Yeah, I believe they also mentioned that Earth Federation weaponry is also just better. Zeon cannons fire at less range and are weaker.
Okay.
Episode 1, this is it.
Yep.
Guys saluting in the camera. Oh, they didn't show him, but he was there in episode 1. Which means that they literally did animate the scene twice.
機関ワルキューレが転進した模様です
Yeah, changing course.
I really like the damage control monitor.
I agree.
残りは陣形を整えろ。全力で追撃するぞ。第二巡洋艦戦隊加速。第4フリゲート戦隊加速。
Oh, first big mistake.
作戦軌道への遷移を始めています。ティアンム艦隊およびレビル艦隊は進路変わらず。
Well, yeah, because they think they're pincering them between 2 units.
Yeah.
の艦隊を見失ったな。しかし、ガルマよ。今からここも最前線だ。
先遣隊から報告。追撃を続行するも、ドズル艦隊の艦影が消失。なんだと？偵察のようありとのことです。バカな。
ミノフスキー粒子、さらに濃度上昇。
まるで霧の中だ。司令部に報告はレーザー通信を接続しますか？
ロストしたことは敵に悟られたくないです。
艦隊は進路
Yep, report back with the codam.
That doesn't make any
From
sense either.
Anowski.
はい。
How would they know that you lost sight of them via laser beam transmission, which would be point to point? They wouldn't know that you're even communicating.
Yeah.
伝達できませんので目視をお願いします。
俺の目が頼りかよ。
ミノフスキー粒子は以前濃厚。自分強制視力落ちてまして。
Still too many particles.
なんか見えるか？デブリじゃないな。しかし、
あ、自分も目視確認。ノズルコを足す。味方艦隊の完備ですね。前線に到達したようです。
おい、なんか変じゃねえか。
近すぎるし。 方向も
ベクトル分析だ。
やってます。2時の方向より接近。接近
It would just feel like a rookie mistake.
Yep.
自分が敵のど真ん中であります。
くそ、ファルコンに繋がらないぞ。
Damn it, it's like these Monopsky particles block radio transmissions or something.
所属不明機コース進入。
Who would have known that, though, you know?
偵察機と思われます。
こんなところに。これは厄介ですな。いや、作戦に変更はない。コース。
Okay, he's strong.
了解。コースそのまま。
Well, ironically, he bent them more in episode 1. So it's weird. Although I guess technically it would be harder to just dent them in than it would be to bend them like we see him do in episode 1.
Oh, absolutely.
Because that's crushing something that's already tight versus just bending something that's rigid. It's the Tri-Stars.
We're fighting in space. Let's choose the most space weapon we know. An axe.
Well, how else are you going to axe them, in question?
異常ないか。
なんでしょうか。
見せてみろ。
デブリにしては背景と違うんです。
これは艦影じゃないか。こちら右ウィングブリッジ。本当に艦影なのか。CIC の情報はどうなっている。
提督ブリッジへ。
お、確認を続けろ。ああ、そのままだ。はあ、それよりどんな具合だね。はい、現在
Gotta hate
交
Rebel
戦
so
中
much.
域へ向け艦隊の加速は順調。
Why?
Ah, you'll know by the end of the episode.
But Revel is Lesson's favorite character.
We haven't told you whose lessons drawn for yet, so... But you might also know by the end of the episode. That's some confidence right there, though. Those will be my last words before I do something insanely stupid.
それから先ほど CIC より偵察隊の報告が。 第5戦艦船体にダメージです。何？火が見えるぞ。また光った。2番艦のフォレスタルです。上部構造物が損壊。敵の攻撃と思われます。しかしどこから？
Yeah, see, they're not firing, so.
Yep.
艦内で火災が広がっている模様です。敵の包囲はパッシブによると4時。金曜艦船体を4時へ
It could be. It could be a case that too much fire would cause them to hit their own ships.
No, it was indicating that he snuck in. It was a surprise
ギア
attack.
の艦隊から暗号通信入りました。ノズル艦隊をロスト。なんだと？司令官が来られる直前、偵察機から艦影ミュートの報告が。防空隊を上げろ。了解。対空戦闘用意。ウィングからブリッジへ。観測
They're in space, so anti-air is a bit of a misnomer.
両艦からも緊急通信来てます。あれはなんだ?
Yeah, like it would be weird fighting in such a space.
目標主力デビル本体。両舷前進要ソロー。艦艦最大戦速。かかれ。全艦使用自由。
Oops.
You're about to learn today.
We're at Star Wars range.
I mean, this was a pretty amazing scene when I saw it in Pirates of the Caribbean. Keep firing, assholes! I mean, I still wouldn't want to be this close to the thing I'm shooting at.
Not at all.
How convenient that his ship didn't blow up like every other ship that gets blown up completely.
To be fair, it is an Ace Custom battleship. I mean, technically it is a flagship, so.
I didn't see a flag.
It's right there. Rebel's a flag officer.
噛まれたな。こっぴどく。船体ごとに10人。火事ではこちらが上だ。安否下げ一旦。機関室大破。下から来ます。早すぎるぞ。基本恐るべし。右舷火災5時見えるぞ。
True. They kind of flew a whole colony at the Earth.
マガジン交換だ。損害報告。
Also,
no.
Seems like mobile suit weaponry is just very much more efficient than battleship weaponry.
Absolutely, because the mobility alone.
No, I mean, not so much in those cases. Char took a ship out with one shot.
You might be able to account for that with accuracy.
Well, I mean, I know how he did it. I'm just saying, because he specifically targeted a place on the ship that would cause other explosions. I just mean that it takes whole batteries of Zeon battleships.
Yeah.
To do a similar thing. Sorry, if you understand me pausing between things, you understand how I edit videos. That's for the audience.
No, that's not a great time.
See, I like that. You saw that he was targeting the nose of the ship, and then they hit near the back and a little drift to the back. So they're counting for drift in their animating of the missiles.
やられちまったのかよ。こちらファルコンコントロール。ファルコン、ダックビル306だ。侵入指示をくれ。ダックビル、着艦は許可できない。なんだって。現在、アタッカーの発艦が優先だ。他の船を当たれ。
Oops, never mind.
That might be an issue.
Yeah. Not having a ship to land, yeah. Or a ship to live in.
Sure, they just got kicked in the face.
I like that these ships literally are, you know, bases in ocean and they have wheels to use, you know. They could have used a joystick or something, but no, they have literal wheels.
No, Star Trek.
No, Star Trek uses
You
buttons.
don't remember when the saucer section's coming down in Generations,
Yeah,
and Riker pulls out the joystick.
the quick shot, yeah.
Sometimes you just gotta use a good joystick.
It's just my most unsuccessful pickup line.
So far, this is just a massacre of a battle.
消火困難です。モビルスーツ3機に取りつかれました。司令官。エンジンにも被弾しました。機関を移す準備を。総員、速やかに消火は逐次中止。対艦準備。総員、速やかに対艦せよ。当てていけよ、マス。黙って見とけ。とどめは任せろ。
This one episode.
That's impressive.
That's some Halo level shit right there. Yes, and I know they, for the audience, I know the heat axes, which is what he's using, which are pretty cool, predate Halo by a lot.
What I was gonna say is, I appreciate, or this episode alone eliminated all of my complaints about people not firing on bridges of ships in all of the other Gundams.
大正気だ。
So, so what? Take him out.
Yeah.
Eliminate one word from your 3-word sentence.
What do you mean?
I get it.
Take him?
Ah,
Yes.
so close. Although that is what I'm thinking a lot about right now.
Him out?
That the thunderstorm going on outside. Which is really adding ambiance to this battle.
Oh,
Yeah,
You're
you're in
alive, my
space.
dude.
and screwed. Because there's nobody to rescue you.
True.
Things I wish I could say. might have survived. He's sitting right behind you. Fuck your jet. Don't say that ever again. Don't give that guy a nickname.
And he's shooting all the important parts of ships.
I mean, he only has one shot left. But he has an E-Deck, so it doesn't matter.
Boom.
Oh, that's Kuzin, isn't it?
You cannot compete.
See? I got it.
Yeah.
It's like, who's this random guy talking? It's like, oh, that's the guy from the bar.
Okay.
He might be an ace, but he doesn't seem to be a good leader. Well, I know he's been a good leader of men before, but apparently right now he's just like, I don't care. I'm all for the glory.
He's also probably dealing with mass amounts of adrenaline.
Cobra Commander.
Ah. Yes.
これで念願の早期決着が可能となりました。終戦交渉を有利に進められましょう。
何を言っている。
It's
これ
true.
は勝利の第一歩に過ぎん。最後の勝利に至るまで戦いはまだ終わらせるわけにはいかんのだ。
兄上はまたそのような。
機に臨み、変に応ずという言葉を知らぬか、キシリア。
一つお尋ねしても。
なんだ。
皇后陛下の座上官、グレートデギンがただ一巻前面に出ていますが。
父上が望まれたことだ。兵は鼓舞され、歴史的勝利を間近に見られてご満足に違いない。
He plans on him dying in that battle.
艦隊が差し違える覚悟の時は、皇后陛下がこれを阻止されると。
杞憂だな。連邦の腐った官僚軍人どもはそんな万有を持ち合わせていない。
それでも、もしもの時はなんと。
答える必要があるのか。
Remember, Garn was on that ship.
いいえ。
Also, the balls of Giran to constantly have his back to Kaisili.
Yeah.
Yep.
まだわからんぞガルマ。もしも連邦が先発のティアンム艦隊をこのまま突入させれば、丸腰に等しいジオン本国はなすがままだ。肉を切らせて骨を断つ戦法を取れば。
Although
Very
arguably
much
the
possible.
Zeon homeland is actively defenseless right now.
前方に敵艦光学センサーにも捉えました。大型戦艦グアジン級。
Zeon swung big, but they left themselves wide open.
ドズル艦隊への動員で敵本国は機関を出してくるほど逼迫しているかと。あれを抜けばジオン本国です。突入すれば陥落させることも可能です。提督、我が艦隊の損耗は警備です。ダメだ。 突入はしない。
なぜですか。
すでに戦局は決している。
しかし
我々の急務は
They're seeing it from the other angle. Save some of your forces so you can keep fighting.
Yeah.
No all-in tactics the Zeons keep talking about.
Yeah, the Zeons are trying to do this all in one fell swoop.
Because ultimately they're the weaker force, so they have to win the big victories early on to shock the other side. The problem is Garen is like, oh no, we're gonna keep on fighting. It's like, you moron. Don't.
前方4000キロにおいて回答しました。やった完勝だ。これで本当に勝ちですね、お父様。今度は僕も戦います。
I mean, if you think about it, they got a graph. They're still pulling more and more victories. They're not at the point where they're like losing traction yet.
I mean, again, it's like World War II, where the Japanese attacked first and had a 6 months in the run, but eventually the resources of the United States overwhelmed them.
You got to figure out where your failing point is. What's the maximum amount of gains you can achieve, and they're high on gains. Hey, remember my conversation about possibly pedophilic deikun?
Yeah.
Still, come on.
They're doing damage.
I like how they use the smoke that has gathered, right? To kind of hint like they're in the water, right? That they're sinking ships and stuff like that.
Well, also, oh, give it a minute.
Yeet.
Also 6 Zeon. But yeah, no, that's what they were indicating before. That all the particulate around them is indicating how much fucking damage was being accumulated through this fight. That they're turning space brown.
Looks like a fucking dragon. I didn't realize.
Hey.
We've seen it before, but
この勝利を好材料として連邦を交渉の場に引き出すのが賢明と思うが。
お言葉ですが、我々は勝ち続けます。この先も、そして最後まで。交渉は最良の機会を捉えて。
See what I mean though? Deikman's constantly, we need to stop this fight. We need to stop this fight.
ナポレオンもヒトラーも
そんな旧時代の愚行は参考になりません。我々はすでに人類の経験領域の外に行き、歴史を育んできているのですよ。
Okay, this guy's an arrogant idiot.
父上の言葉とも思えません。大君は何と言いましたか。スペースノイドは新しい種となり。 人類を次段階の進化へと導くと高らかに宣言したではないですか。まさに今大君の理想を現実にする好機を我々は手に入れたのです。今を置いてない唯一の機会を。邁進あるのみです。妥協ではなく、ただ前へ。
You're going to get hoisted on your own.
I've always loved his walking out of the room just shouting shit. I mean, this guy is as much a believer in Zeon's belief as Stalin was in Lenin's.
Yeah.
ご心配なくお力になります。
頼む。あれを止められるのは多分お前だけだ。あれは鬼になった。 大君の無念が悪魔に変じてあれについたのだ。あれはこの国を、我が一族をも滅ぼす。
It's true.
ご安心ください。このキシリアがついております。
Yeah.
She's gonna either kill
That's what I'm saying.
him
That
or
Degwit's
the
not
other
the
one.
evil that you claimed he was at the very beginning when we started doing this. He's constantly been the voice of "we need to stop."
手柄を立てさせてください。
しかしな、これは親父の希望で軍のトップが決めたことだし、俺には。
今の兄さんなら何だってできますよ。兄さんはルームの英雄じゃないですか。
まあな。
負けたくないんです。
Hmm.
シャーに。あいつは今度の戦訓で2階級特進して少佐になるって聞きました。そしたら
Wow, that's a big rank, yeah.
そういうことなら、お前も少佐に。
僕は何も働いてません。安全な場所で戦況を見ていただけです。
I just think that they're the same age, right? His wife and they're the same age because they went the same class.
No, I believe. God, the math I've already done. Dozel's like 25 and she's like 20, something like that.
No, she is the same age as Garen. Garen, no, it's
No, not Garen. You mean Garma?
Dharma, yeah.
I don't know that that's true either.
I think they were in the same class.
Oh, yeah, but I mean, even a class can have a disparity of ages.
About a year or so, at most.
I don't know. They might have fast-tracked Dharma from the school too. Who knows?
大君の間であります。ただいま勲章伝達式を終え、諸将有志たちが続々と入場しつつあるところです。司令官のドズル中将です。まさしく威風あたりを払うの感があります。続いてお手柄の黒い三連
Wearing the World of Warcraft style spikes on the shoulder.
Yeah.
赤い彗星という異名を取るエース中のエースシャア中尉。いや、颯爽とサガンのマントを翻すシャア・アズナブル少佐です。
Yeah.
Idiots.
Get into a fight with
You
Char
re-
here.
Yeah, you really need to learn timing.
スペースノイドは世界に冠たるであろうという教えだ。
Yes, that's not fascist at all.
Well, I don't think it is. I think it's racist.
現にまだルームの一部は我が公国に服せず虚しく抵抗を続けている。こうした輩を一掃し、
Although I think if you consider it specious, that might be racist too in itself.
最終決戦に勝利しなければならない。
Well, no, because
If you consider yourself so advanced that you're a different species, when you're actually just fucking human, that might be racist towards the people you consider to be a sub-race.
if
Vis-a-vis Mongoloid as a term.
やめろ、オルテガ。皇后陛下の前だぞ。
no, I think specious and racist would have a clear line because one would have to be within a set species.
君も立派になったな。
Yeah, being racist would be within the human race. I'm saying if they believe themselves so advanced that they're calling themselves specious because they don't believe that they're even human anymore, which was Giran's thing, that might be racist. Anyway, these are after episode thoughts.
それを率いて近々ルームの残敵を掃討するつもりだ。
ほう。
僕には無理だと。
Oh, that's not good for you, Garma. Put those flags away.
ただ危険な任務だ。君には似合わない汚れ仕事だ。デ銀行やドズル閣下がよくそれを。
関係ない。僕は僕だ。見くびるなよ、シャア。僕だって。いつまでもあの頃の僕じゃない。
That doesn't make sense.
Well, basically, what he's saying is that
Sorry,
when
let me clarify real quick. They saw each other as Casval and Garma at a funeral once as children. I won't be that little boy. Really only works back then.
no, I think he was talking about when they were in the academy.
Yeah.
Boys back in the academy.
I mean, they were teenagers, they were little kids, so yeah.
Yeah, well, little teenagers don't like to be referred to as little boys.
That's no. This is just a mission of violence.
No, they're trying to make surrender. Well, now
say
it's
that.
violence.
Yeah, now it's genocide.
That's why it's hard to pull back from that. Principality is the prison.
Capua のアフロディーテ、地球世紀紀元前4世紀の像と言われています。
It had his arms?
贋作だな。
Yeah, cause
本物はローマ時代の模索。これはさらにその模索でルネサンス期のものか。
これは本館所蔵品の中でも屈指の名品、ギリシャの壺。
Oh, wait, some McQueen if you don't remember the board.
イタリア南部ブルチより出土。
これも贋作だ。観光土産の類だ。贋作以前とさえ言っていい。これは
ローマ時代の仮面劇に使われたもので。
これも
はい、そのようかと。
高かったのだろうな。
はい、それなりに。
They're fake.
中世紀なぞと嘘吹いてみても、我々の歴史はたかだか100年にも満たん。
Oh,
だ
interesting.
からバカにされる。
所詮はただの成り上がりよと。
We definitely stand opposed to Gieran's philosophy of we're not beholden to the history of the humans from behind us because we're better than.
yeah.
And here we have a whole museum of fucking Earth history.
陛下のお気持ちはよくわかりました。人類史上最悪であるこの戦争はやめなければなりません。
カインとアベルの昔から人の反目と争いは絶えず、人と人とは分かり合えずにいる。嘆かわしいことだ。ジオンズム大君はそうした呪縛からの解放を考えた。宇宙を含む万物が神の創造物であるにせよ。かつて新大陸に渡ることで得た解放感に数倍する希望を我々宇宙移民が得て悪いことがあろうか。
Yeah, who lost in order to conquer and enslave the natives, sure.
Doesn't apply in space.
新しい人間への希望がかくもおぞましい憎しみと大破壊を招くとも知らず。レビル将軍、ことを収めることはできないか。わしと機関の手で。
You dropped the colony on Earth? I don't think so.
Rather more people die?
Well, it comes to a point is like when you put someone else against the wall like that, against someone who's willing to wipe you out. It's a Star Wars thing, you know. The Death Star is like, oh, more planet, more system will fall, blah blah. It's like, no, more we're going to resist you because you're going to kill them at your whim, right?
Except this is like if the Empire was like, hey, come to the negotiating table. Like, maybe we can talk this out. We don't want to kill more planets.
Yeah, but you can't say that while having a Death Star.
You can. You literally can. We negotiate with people all the time. United States. We have nukes.
But you don't use them.
But that's not the point. Yeah, don't use the Death Star, and it's the same point.
But they
the
already
Death
did.
Stars was
That's the thing,
used.
they
Yeah,
already
well,
did,
we've
right?
already fucking used nukes. This is a stupid argument. Or an argument to have after the episode.
Yes, one of the two.
Well, it's probably the second one. I didn't mean to say it was stupid.
ギレン総帥も同じお考えです。地球の富と国土を手に入れるのです。だからこそ地球に魅力を感じないものをやるわけにはいかないのです。
2つほど質問をしてもよろしいでしょうか。
どうぞ。
ご存知の通り、戦争には相手が必要です。連邦の戦意が決定的に失われている場合、振り上げた拳をどこへ下ろすべきか。
もう一つの質問も合わせて聞きましょう。
保証は、私と私の軍はいわば敵の中にパラシュート降下するのです。こう言ってはなんですが、捨て駒にはなりたくない。
二つ目からお答えしましょう。ガルマザビをあなたの下に配属させます。
That's been insurance this whole time so far.
Yeah.
ガルマをです。
Done.
皇王が決してあなたを見捨てぬという何よりの保証となりましょう。そして最初の質問に対する回答。人間はいついかなる時も本質的に戦いを望むものです。愚かにもまた懸命にも。戦争継続の手はすでに打ってあります。マクベ中将、これだけは覚えておいてください。あなたは他の凡将とは違う。高い器量をお持ちだから申しましょう。
Here we go.
私はギレン総帥をスカン。
He's one of two people that did the. Let me ask you two questions.
ゼオン代表なのか。ルームでも張ってでも汗一つかかなかったくせに。あんなやつ俺はスキャン。しかも和平交渉と来よった。そんなものどうなろうと知るが。気がかりだったのは貴様のような有能な士官が奴についていってしまうことだったが、よく残ってくれたな。
地球は小に合いません。根っからのスペースノイドですから。内々の打診もお断りしました。
Besides all the work that I did at Jaburo.
子供の喧嘩ではないから部下の取り合いなぞはせん。貴様を奴にくれたくなかったのは別にさせたい仕事があったからだ。
ほう、それはどのような。
連邦の新モビルスーツ開発が秘密裏に進行している。V 作戦と呼ばれているらしい。この宇宙のどこかでそれは進められている。
Evil green eyes.
We're about to see some shit.
We're gonna get a print out.
Here, Dozel is the first person I'd recruit for my football team.
Rugby, but sure. Oh, how convenient. It prints out and it also is a shredder.
See, I'm worried what happens if there's a paper jam.
だが、V 作戦の脅威なぞと言っても所詮わからん奴らにはわからん。そこで貴様に命令する。あらゆる兆候を捉え、抵抗を排し、V 作戦の基地を探り出し、叩き潰せ。は、分かっているようだな。この任務の重大さが。それでこそだ。ジオン軍きっての英雄といえども、身一つでこれだけの任務をこなせるとは思う。見ろ、貴様の船だ。艦名は俺がつけておいた。
The Falmer.
バルメだ。無才を超えた無才。
Oh, that's the farmer.
Okay.
So he's an annoying little creep that could be a goblin that I have to kill and Somebody's gonna start shouting at him and blast him off the cliff.
何か質問を。
ありません。
Because that's how you get Dragonborn.
任務に邁進します。
I don't get it. The only Falmer I know is the ship.
The fact that they named it makes me think it's gonna survive.
To be fair, all the ships have names.
What a fucking show up. He has to, spin this shit.
ポンコツパプアの改造補給艦に乗っていたものに
One
は
of my favorite characters, by the
眩
way.
しすぎますね。チャー艦長。
艦長は君だ。ドレンチ。
冗談はよしてください、少佐殿。
冗談を言ったつもりはない。どんな船であれ、それに鎖で縛り付けられることを私は望まない。覚えておけ、諸君。私は一度も良い船乗りになろうなどと思ったことはない。私は大宇宙の戦士。
Interesting call.
どんな船よりも早く自由に天かける騎士だ。テストを続行しろ、艦長。
では、負傷ドレン注意、艦長代理を拝命します。直ちに戦闘訓練。
If I had a lackey, I would want it to be this guy.
He does seem to be a good lackey.
Any other comments would be just a little. So. Queen of the Night, as her call handle.
今回の作戦名、青い鳥にはどんな意味が？
前世紀コールドウォーの時代、アメリカとソ連が初めて合作した映画。真壁に聞け、イサイは。
Oh, I think then I know what she's trying to do.
You're being broken out.
お急ぎください。少し物を尋ねてもいいかな。お答えできることなら。移送先はどこだ？そうか。
All right.
わかった。
You're moving to your execution.
Intentional small fuck you.
カーゴターミナルも突破します。ベイにはランチが接舷していますから走ってください。
お前がこの作戦の指揮官か。何という名前だ？誰の指揮下にいる？
Furthermore, who is your daddy and what does he do?
答えられまいな。
Yeah.
そうだろう。
Smart.
They're probably designed for that reason. Or for that ability. To be fair, if I was going to kill him before an execution, I would also do something like this. You know, shoot him as he was trying to escape.
I think that's a very viable option, but
it would have been much easier if he tried to kill him in front of his own cell, right? Right? As opposed to do all this, just attack your own troops.
青い鳥を鳥かごに入れました。これよりメーテルリンクとの合流点に向かいます。
了解。よくやった。
That's Casilia's voice.
Yeah, I mean, just saw that she was in charge of the operation.
Playing it though.
標的艦ロックオン。
One hand, she selects a command. Well, I guess she wants to cut off his brother off all this. That's what she wants. That's the thing that she's trying.
His brother.
Yeah.
Who's his brother?
Garen.
Her brother. Sorry. You said
Her
his
brother.
brother. I thought you were talking about Rebel. I'm like, who the fuck is Rebel's brother?
No, her brother.
エネルギー充填 120%。
1番から3番発射準備よし。
距離8人1丸。まもなく。何か艦長。いや艦長ダリ殿。この標的艦は変です。接近速度が速すぎます。このサラミスは生きてます。何？戦速 1.1km パーセカンド。まもなく有効射程に入ります。
If it's almost within our fire range, that means that they are able to fire on us, as we've already covered.
速度やや落ちました。
気づいたな、こっちに。
なんだ？話が違うじゃないか。このエリアには戦闘艦を置かないという約束だったはずだ。
無罪接近してきます。
停戦命令を出せ。いてはならない中域で敵艦を確認した。取るべき処置は2つに1つだ。打破するか、それとも沈めるか。
capture is a good option.
そうだな。
Don't think there's a third way. Let it go.
確かに。連邦艦に次ぐ。停戦せよ。本艦はシャーアズナブル少佐上艦ファルメル。抵抗しても無駄だ。停戦せよ。
シャーだって。ルームで戦艦5隻が沈められたという赤い彗星。よりによってなんというやつ。
For you, Justin, that would be like the Hawk of Antibon.
どれ？
Got it.
警告射撃をしろ。
If you remember that reference.
I did not.
Raoul the Flogger. That's his nickname.
Got it.
2番3番は左舷側を狙え。警告だぞ。いいか。当てるなよ。
1番砲塔ターゲットアクジション。2番3番も照準。
Sorry, it's eating me up inside. It's not Raoul the Flogger. The Flogger, just the Flogger. Rad was the other guy.
Hell of a shot.
敵艦機関停止。
よし、いい腕だ。どれ？私はザクで出る。デニムに援護させる。接舷して待て。
ちょっと、シャー少佐。
It was very much a I said across her nose, not up it.
Yeah.
They did follow orders, so didn't destroy them.
Zeon の新型モビルスーツザクか。初めて見た。赤ザク。
赤い彗星。
That would be terrifying.
Well, it's 18 meters tall, so. Or thereabouts.
今が戦争状態であることはご存知のはず。本来なら警告なしで撃沈するところだ。ジオンの内庭というようなところに なぜ入り込んだ？どうやって？何のために？
敵は一人だ。
偵察や破壊工作のためではあるまい。
やれる。
Someone's bucking for a promotion. For surgery.
Ow.
Yep.
質問に答えろ。答えなければさらに船も乗員も傷つく。
Yeah, I remember this guy from the academy.
Yep.
失礼ながらお尋ねします。あなたはレビル大将閣下でいらっしゃいますか？
いかにもわしはレビルだが、そうと知ったらどうする。
Revel in his glory.
忠実なジオン軍士官よ。
閣下のご上官とは知りませんでした。航行を妨げたご無礼をお許しください。以後どうぞご無事で。
注意殿、シャア少佐が艦外に出てきました。
そうか。じゃあ俺が出るまでもないな。
Ah, Dren. I fucking love you, man.
策に戻るようです。敵艦機関始動。
Trying to know what's going on. Something's going on.
Yeah.
いいんだどれ。あの船は私には過ぎた宝船だった。危うく最高の政治賞を台無しにするところだったよ。
Isn't it a brilliant piece of political theater?
I think he has to assume that if they took Admiral Revel hostage, then how the hell did he get out here? Who do I know who could do this sort of thing? I better not kill him if she's involved. Oh, Arctic Treaty. I haven't seen them in 3 or 4 episodes.
No.
我が社の定期便に採用とまではいかんが。
あら、おあいにくさま。第一志望は他にございましてよ。
カモラン君かい？それもいいじゃないか。反対せんよ、わしは。
シートベルトなさって入校しますわよ。
Ah, suggesting your daughter should get married. Whoever Cameron is.
Mm-hmm.
お出かけのところ悪いけどさ、ちょっと顔貸してくれよ。アムロ君。
I lost my shit. Someone kicked it out of me. Can you help me find it?
コロニー校舎の技術者が聞いてはきれら。軍属なんだろ？睨んでた通りじゃねえか。
Yo, you need to learn when to stop asking questions.
戦争に巻き込もうって言うんだな。俺たちまで。どいてください。はあ？危ないですよ。そんなところにいると。
Kai's got a point.
Yeah.
They're dragging them. Your dad's dragging us into a war. They literally just threw a colony at something. Fucking stop.
いくら開発主任の息子さんでもね、ここは通せないんだよ。それに今日は会社の偉い人が視察に来るんで。
父に頼まれたんです。中の作業所からメモリーチップの入ったカバンを取ってきてくれって。
だからそういうことだから。
You heard the man.
ガンダムって何です？
Oh, that got him in. Now he's gonna
Yeah.
get his crap kicked.
And that's either him in or dead.
やあ、君がアムロ君か。
あなたは
ウィリアム・ケンプ。
I'm going to observe the Justin rule here, but it's all I'll say is it's funny how important this guy is supposed
君
to
のお
have
父さん
been.
と一緒に仕事をしているものさ。
やっぱり軍人さんなんですね。じゃあ教えてくれますよね、ガンダムのこと。
ガンダムの存在をいつから知っている？レイ主任から聞いたのか？
何のことです？父さんは、いえ、父は僕に何も言ってくれません。
ではなぜ知っている？
質問してるのは僕の方です。ガンダムって何なんですか？
This is where he get his ass kicked. Like, okay, kid.
Yep.
Yeah, they're gonna search the house for everything.
Yep.
What a pigsty. Yep.
I was about to say you're about to get messed up, buddy.
今日のことはレイ主任には内緒にしておく。君も決して口外するな。いいな、二度目はないぞ、アムロ君。
結局ダメか。
Well, you know
Only
the
one
name
warning.
of a state secret, but I'll just let you go with a verbal warning. That seems pretty good.
I mean, they
No,
already
go to
secured
your
all
house.
the. They went to the house, secured all the things that he had there. So whatever it was,
Yeah,
they
but you
found
can
out
still go
why.
running around saying the name Gundam.
You did what you could. I give respect to Haro here.
You're a ball, Haru. I don't think you're gonna do much unless somebody throws like a laser or something.
I mean, it had a security mode. We don't know what it was powering up to do.
I doubt it would have stopped. How many men were there?
Eh, quite a few. Also, we're not going to tell your dad, but we are going to take everything out of his house. So, we're going to leave you to explain why this happened.
Yep.
Hey, that treaty that we heard about.
That place must be really high up.
全世界の皆さん、ここは南極にありますスコットシティです。これよりこの地で歴史的な和平交渉が開始されようとしています。
そうか、それはよかった。ご苦労。隊員は皆2階級特
So
殊
yeah,
のも
this is
の
what
だ。
we saw the covers with
許諾
McLeave
中
on
佐
before.
入ります。
メディア関係はいいんだな。
Also, this
はい
asshole.
コロニー圏を含む
The
全世
eyebrows
界
on
で主要
this
局
man
のほとんど
are
が
a
生
thing.
中継します。
うん
歴史的な大演説になります。
今君に行かれるのは大変辛いんだがね。しかしジオン制圧下のここにはいられないというのでは仕方がない。どうだろう、この後のこ
So,
とだが
despite Garma's best efforts,
サイド
they
セブンへ行っ
surrendered.
てみる気はないかね。
サイドセブンですか？
偏僻なところだがね、ジオンの色はついていない。これはルナ2。一応まだ連邦軍が抑えている。
これですの？サイドセブン。
ジオンのサイド3とは反対側の開発エリアということもあるが、まあこんなところはいくらジオンでも。しかし3万人ほどの工事関係者がいる。そこが現在無依存状態で、 こういう状況下とはいえ、
no
医者としては見過ごせない。
That's a problem.
行きます。
He is a
私
doctor, not just a nurse.
サイドセブンへ。
No, we had a debate about it
すで
episode
に
ago.
和平会議が行われるスコットシティには双方の代表が到着しつつあります。ジオン代表マクベ中将、連邦軍を代表してゴップ大将。
I already called him an asshole. I'm not doing it again.
I don't expect the peace talks to be successful.
The results may surprise you.
お待ちしておりました。レビル閣下。
いやあ、ワッケン君、よく生きていてくれた。ルームではすまなかった。
お急ぎください。時間がありません。
いや、エルラン君、驚いたよ。君大変なことをやってくれたね。
さすがはゴップ大将、情報が早いですな。
早かないさ。司令部の幕僚はみんな知っとる。レビル君は何というかね。
決まってますよ。
Yeah, they know rebels been
じゃあ我
rescued.
々のここでの会議は全くの無駄ということになる。
そんなことはありません。戦時条約を結べばいい。
I wouldn't be surprised if the peace talks get
生
bombed.
物、化学兵器の使用禁止。もちろん、コロニーや小惑星を爆弾として使うこともです。
戦争をするのはいいが、もっと綺麗にということか。
And that's why I call him an asshole.
Yeah. Yeah.
He basically just said what McQueen said in the previous episode. Meaning both sides of the negotiation are on literally the same terms.
Yep.
本番15秒前。10秒前。5秒前。4、3。
地球圏の皆さん、私はヨハン・イブラヒム・レビルです。連邦宇宙軍大将として UFO ルーム救援作戦を指揮しました。結果は大敗でありました。司令官であった私の作戦と戦闘指揮が原因であります。
本物なのか。
なんで中佐の軍服なんだ。
ご承知の通り、私は負傷し、ジオン本国で捕虜となっていました。今こうして友軍基地からお話ができているのは、勇敢なる我が軍の将兵によって救出されたからであります。数十万の将兵と多数の艦艇を失いました。責任は全て私にあります。私がその栄光と誇りを失わしめた友軍によって救出されたのは神のご加護があったからです。
ドレン注意。皆も聞いておけ。
敗北による喪失と屈辱の汚名を注ぐべしという神のおぼし
新しい舞台の幕開けだ。神のいない第2幕が始まる。
もしも再びその任を命ぜられることがあるならば、私は全身全霊をもって雪辱を期すでありましょう。現在南極において休戦条約の交渉が行われていることは知っております。無論私も平和を望んでいます。しかし現時点での休戦はなりません。それは休戦ではありません。降伏であります。それは長き歴史と文化、文明を有するこの地球市民が先制と独裁に
He's setting
屈す
himself
る
to
ということでありま
single-handedly
す。
be the reason why this war continues.
Exactly. Degwood, who got him out of prison to try and help stop the war.
陛下のお言葉をいただきたく整列しております。
今行く。
それでは父上、行ってまいります。ルーム総統の功が認められ、大佐に昇進しました。北アメリカ方面西部地区司令として着任いたします。
奮闘せいガルマ、恩知らずどもを黙らせてやれ。
はい。
好戦的な地球人たちを徹底的に叩きのめしてこい。
They spoke to the bear.
Those war-loving Earthers. Fuck it, I've been trying to stop this war the whole fucking show. I'm done. Kill them all.
わけのわからない工事をしている。
Fucking rebel.
その偉業を支えた婿の民を
のどかね、ここ。
このまま
But
のど
again,
かで
it's
あって
like
くれればいいのだがね。
you slaughtered billions.
Giran.
コロニー落としというような蛮行を
I mean, he's blaming Zeon.
I understand that. I'm saying that Degwin's been trying to stop
ま
this.
だ続くのかしら。
Yeah.
And he tried to go around Giran.
人はまだ
I've been trying to
行
make
き
a
着く
deal
と
with
ころまで
Rebel,
行っ
and
ていない
Rebel
ん
just
だろ
went
う。
fucking crazy at the last minute. In case you forgot who she was.
なんだかんだと言ってもみんな戦争がしたいんだ。
But also, it's also spoiling you by telling you their positions on a thing you haven't seen yet. So I guess pay attention.
あんたたちも水遊びすればいいの。
カイさん、あんなこと言ってますけど、何してんですか？
偉い人が演説してるからさ。
Most of the fucking important thing happening in the universe, right?
あ
Yeah.
じゃあ戦争もう終わるのかな。
どうもね、そうもいかないみたいよ。なかなか。
Fights in battle as gun cannon crew.
アムロも水遊びしない？気持ちいいわよ。
He's like
White base medical team. Child care.
ああ、ダメだよ。これから練習なんだから。やめろ、やめろったら。
Active gun tank crew. Also, keep in mind that he was on his way to like jiu-jitsu practice because you're gonna want to remember that.
Yeah.
あの向こうにガンダムがあるんだ。
Gundam pilot.
RX 7802.
Sorry, I forgot to say what the hell Murai died. Since I forgot to say it, I'll say it now.
よう姉ちゃん、退屈してるんじゃねえの？遊ばねえ？俺たちと。え？何聞いてんだよ。難しい顔しちゃって。
聞かせてあげましょうか。静かになさって。大事なお話なんですから。
ジオンを過大に評価すべきではありません。人的、軍的資源がもとより限られているジオンは長く戦いを続けることなどできない。
Fighter crew, comms officer.
ジオンの思惑に乗るべきではありません。
Got it. They're spoiling it all, but they're actually just setting it up for like the first episode of the show.
Yeah.
Weeb, asshole, gob, asshole. Rebel, asshole.
我々は必ず勝利する。
We're during credits, but I'm pretty sure there's an after credit scene, so, you know, don't tune out just yet. Also, you know, infinite ship lineup.
Yeah, that's just a lot.
Sorry, not infinite ship lineup. Literally, the things are happening, what they described would start happening. McQueeve and his group dropping on Earth.
Yeah, it's Operation. It's the first invasion of Earth. First wave.
Well, it's what McQueeve and Cassilia talked about. How do I have any guarantees that I won't be suicidal? Well, not suicidal. How do I have any guarantees that I won't just be like cannon fodder? Well, we'll send Garma with you. What greater, you know, guarantee did you give them that? Also, very much like the first episode, you know, for very obvious reasons. And not a bad musical backdrop.
Oh no, the musical backdrop is phenomenal.
Moppings. I'm pretty sure there's something that's supposed to happen that I haven't seen happen yet.
So they made it with Vietnamese and Japanese, Korean studios, or are those localizations from?
I would lean towards localization teams, but we do know that these shows have a history of being made with at least Korean animation studios involved.
Yeah. Noted.
Historically, there's one episode that they tried to erase, by the way, that they tried to erase from the history of the show. They ended up turning into a movie. But we will also be watching that show. It's in the lineup.
Wait,
also,
so
it's really good to give you a comparison.
They tried to erase an episode.
Yeah, it was very bad. It was very bad and it was outsourced. Yeah. It was very bad and outsourced. And it was American releases.
Got it.
And they later released it as a movie. There is whatever I said a second ago.
Blu-ray disc. Yeah, cool.
Remember, he's an American Western Command.
Yeah, sightseeing Hollywood, LA, well, no, LA, you know.
However, that thing, that's also one of those things that doesn't align with the show 100%.
Yeah. Also very important that they have Zeon doing a parade in Paris. Apropos.
Well, it's a versus command.
Yeah, but okay, the historical significance of it and what they're alluding to.
You have like a lack of information about what he's doing. It is the best credit sequence yet.
I agree with that.
Thought we were at the end for a second. Ah, damn it. You know, it's like that one more ending bit. Again, I'm certain that there is a post-credit, so I'm waiting for it.
We're about to find out. That's a Caribbean. That's Cuba.
White base. Not the Archangel.
大気圏離脱完了。
Okay, hold on, I'm just getting it now.
加速してルナ2への軌道に入ります。
Cool.
これは素晴らしい船だな、ブライト君。はい。
And
さ
the
すがは
person
ミノフスキ
lessons
ー
is
クラフト
drawn
搭載
for.
の最新鋭艦だ。予備役の身でいい経験をさせてもらった。あとは任務の遂行だな、ブライト君。はい。
Although not in the same uniform. Leads the ship as acting captain.
テムレイ主任は
キャビンにおられます。後で環境にご案内します。
うん。
とうとうだ。やっとここまで来た。アムロ。
And my eyes would stop
父さんはやっ
looking
た
crazy.
ぞ。ガンダムが完成した。お前にも辛い思いを
The
させ
change
た
in
な。
art style for just a fucking picture is so crazy to me.
Yeah.
I'm your daddy, and I'm gonna redeem myself.
And now Gundam begins.
君は生き延びることができるか。
That was not ominous. Char.
Justin Rule.
I mean, that's the voice. That's
No,
the voice
no,
actor.
no, not what you said. Sorry, I had some comment to make, and it was coming out, and I just had to say Justin Rule to suppress it.
Got it.
Will you be able to survive as a Justin Rule until we start watching the show? So yeah, that was the origin. We have officially finished the origin. Except for Justin, who may be watching Origin for another 10 seconds or so.
No, I'm there. I'm good.
Okay, we didn't know you were out of time sync with us, so.
Yeah.
Officially the last of us to stop watching Origin.
It's true.
It was good. I liked it a lot.
Agreed.
Yeah. It actually, and again, this goes Justin Rule, but I'm gonna say it anyway, and people in the audience are gonna know. If you know, you know. It answers a couple of questions that I had from stuff that comes later. I'm like, that doesn't make any sense. Oh, so in a way, that helps the rest of the story. But also as a self-contained story, it was pretty good, right? It gives us what the start. Look, literally gives us the origin, the death of Zeon, the rebellion. That it was mostly Zeon centric. I think it's the only weakness that it has, right?
I don't think that's a weakness at all.
We don't see enough of the Earth side of things, other than they're jackasses. So
I think that's for a Justin Rule reason.
Yeah.
And I don't mean that as like, if I just put Justin Rule here, anything I say makes sense. I mean, there's an obvious reason why.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't think that's a weakness. I think that's a strength, because otherwise, you really Justin Rule. God, it's hard to talk about everything. I mean, I'm not blaming Justin, obviously. This is for the benefit of everybody as well, keeping everything chronological. But I just mean it's difficult. Only because I want to talk about it, because I want to get there, right? I want you to see the things so that then we can talk about it. But then again, I'll forget by the time we get there anyway. So
yeah.
Obviously, I have a whole notes section for next time. Because there's a lot of breakdown from this episode.
Indeed. I think it was a very clean ending for the series and what was developed. I also like the twist in the way that the war continued.
Not really a twist. I mean, McQueeve is like, if you want to keep this fight going, we're going to need somebody to fight, and if the Earth Federation loses the will to fight, who are we going to point our raised fist at? And then Gop and that other asshole are like, yeah, it's kind of like we're saying, fight the war all you want. Just keep it clean. So both sides are fucking assholes. But the biggest asshole of all is Rebel.
Justin Rule.
Well, that's a Justin Rule on your end, because if you're referring to something, I don't actively know it. So in that case, that's also a Theta Rule.
Yes.
The lesser invoked Theta Rule. I'm just saying, from the perspective of just this episode, right? Just this episode, Degwin's like, we have to stop the fighting. And, gets Rebel broken out. So that then I'll have my equal on the other side that I can negotiate with, and I can finally put a stop to this. And Rebel's like, they're never gonna stop fighting! We've got to take him down! There's no soldiers in Zeon! It's like, god damn it. And then you see Degwin gets pissed off, because like, you know what, fuck it. I put my hand out, I got slapped 3 times in a row by Rebel. I am done. You kill them all.
Yep, it was very much the case with Degwin of I'm trying my best, but they kept on poking the bear. So eventually he's like, "You want a bear? Okay."
Pretty much.
Well, no other thoughts?
Oh, my thoughts are that even with Rebel, like, these people are willing to kill billions. Do you think this is going to go unanswered? Right?
I think if Degwin tells everyone to stop, then you're only going to be left with fringe groups. I think the majority of the Zeon military would focus on whatever the fuck they were up to that wasn't war-related. And then you would have extremist groups left on the fringe who are like, gotta fucking kill those Earthers.
Yeah, but the thing, and also I think it's the fact that the Zeons are based on the idea that they are inherently superior to the Earthers, and that is going to be a problem. Maybe not immediately, but eventually it's going to be a problem, right? And you're delaying the war. You're not stopping it.
Well, I mean,
you might even delay it for a couple of years.
I don't even think it hits years, because look what happened when to Insight in the first episode.
Mm-hmm.
I think if you have a moment where Degwin goes, "Guys, don't fight," they go along with it, but they assassinate him and use him as a martyr.
Yeah, eventually Garen would have found a way to just get rid of him, and it's like, yeah.
I don't
'Cause he
know,
wanted to fight
because
too.
the
He
assassin
wanted to fight.
is on Degwin's side.
No, the assassin's not. The
assassin says, I fucking
despises him.
despise Garen. No, she says, I despise Garen, not Degwin.
But
she actively
she might
says,
not-
I'll always have your back, Degwin.
But you
She's
can't
not the
believe what
only-
she says.
She's not the only one, because he said, I'm going to try to stop him, and she does. She kind of helps. But, if she really wanted to stop him, just kill him. That's it. No more Garen.
I think Garen is too smart. I mean,
who's to say
'cause
that-
he always
who's to say
seems to
that-
have something up his back sleeve for like, well, I guess, Garma's with me today. It just seems like he's always got something.
And also, who says that she's the only one that has assassins? She might be the chief assassin. That doesn't mean other people might not try.
The thing telling me that is the show. The show hasn't displayed any other assassins and has relegated every assassination to Cassilia. So, who's to say there aren't any? Nobody. Who's to say that this is what is the show?
I mean, Garen was willing to put his father. I mean, he said, "Oh no, the Earth doesn't have the stomach for this," and it turns out he was right. But it was like, are you willing to bet on it? Because he was willing to put his father and his younger brother and make them martyrs. Because if they attacked,
arguably that was a call that was left down to Dozel.
Not really, because
Dozel was operating the entire fleet, like he was maneuvering everybody around out there.
But he was following Garen's. Garen knew about the plan, and he knew about the I mean, literally, Cassilia confronts him. So, like, Now, this is a very risky plan, and now it's a fleet approaching where our father is. What happens if they attack?
Yeah, no, Giran made the plan, but Dozle at any point could have changed anything. The same way that
Dozle is too much of
they
a
sent off fleets on the Earth Federation side to, save and protect things. Dozle could have rearranged things to save his dad's ship.
Yeah, but Dozle is too much of a loyal puppy, basically, to change the plan in the middle of it. I mean, if he knew, he would have already changed the plan. It's like, I'm not going to take this risk. Oh, my father is, and yeah, he was going to send ships to try to save his father. It would have been too late.
I don't know. Either you're saying Giran is so smart that he pre-planned the Earth Federation not having the stomach for an end run, in which case they're not really in danger because Giran's already pre-planned this.
No, Giran is playing both sides of the equation. If they don't attack, that means that they don't have a stomach for it, and we can push them. If they go for broke, oops, my father is dead. Oh, a martyr of the Air Federation, and they have weakened themselves doing it. Therefore, now I have to go and take revenge. Right?
Well, if you recall, they say if they go for broke, we've lost the war because we'll have Munzo completely defenseless. So he would have been captured if that was the case. In which case, it's not really a brilliant plan. Oh, I've killed my father and my little brother, but oops, I'm gonna get hung now.
I mean, he was willing to take the risk, and her sister calling him out, and he's like, "I'm not worried."
I don't know. I just don't think that's something you plan for, because that starts going into like Xanatos Gambit sort of shit. Like, oh, I knew the battle was going to ebb and flow exactly as it did, which would then put my father's ship directly on the front line. And then I also knew that the commander of that fleet would not have the stomach for an end run on our entire thing, which is exactly how I pre-planned this whole battle weeks in advance. It just seems too much to put on one guy who had to work on his speeches in front of an academy.
I see both sides of it.
Of course you do. You're in the middle camera. You've got no choice. You're also in the mysterious third faction.
Yes.
So yeah, those are my thoughts.
Anything else that we relegated to after the episode?
Oh, that's crazy. The stuff that got shown that I'm not aware of. I'll talk about it when I remember when it comes up.
Okay, one thing I didn't like, and I think Say it is with me, it's like, oh, by the way, these characters are here. We have like 5 minutes. We're gonna just waste a minute to tell us exactly who these characters are and their position with the white base and what they're gonna do. And you're like, why do that? I mean, you do that because you hoping that the audience that is watching this mostly already watched the original and they know the story. But for
one of them is a pretty major spoiler.
Most of them are pretty major
spoilers.
I
mean, okay, they're all spoilers for obvious things, but I think they're not spoilers for very long. One of them takes quite a bit longer, and you wouldn't know what was coming if you didn't have that thing right in front of you. That's as vague as I can be about it. I'm pretty sure you understand exactly which one, but that's the pretty big spoiler. More so than, hey, these people are on the crew, right? That's like watching One Piece and seeing the opening. It's like, hey, not all these people in the opening are on the crew yet. It's that level, but, if you show a person doing a very specific thing, and I don't think I can keep talking without it very obviously giving the game away. So, but yeah, no, I do believe I have a note on it about how it's so obviously a spoiler and so very weird to do at the end of the episode. Like, you could have just freeze-framed on their faces and be like, that would have been cool too. Just a name and a face, like the ending of a Stand By Me or something.
That was, as a show, very well done. I like that it wasn't all about Gundams and mech fighting.
Yeah, the majority of it wasn't.
Yeah.
That's why
because they're not there. They literally didn't exist.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I've constantly said I would watch a Gundam show that had no Gundams or mobile suits in it. I very much like the character developments that happen. Well, so weird for me to say, since most often the thing I complain about is character development in Gundam shows. But I would love a show where it's just people dealing with the world that Gundam takes place in. Right? I don't think I've mentioned it here, but I know I mentioned it last time. There is a Gundam manga, which is literally just murder mystery. I think it's called Gundam Werewolf, where it's literally guy is found dead in the cockpit of a Gundam, and it's all about who was on the ship at the time and everything like that. So it's like a detective murder mystery about just a murder in space. So I would love that, because you got Gundam Tech, you've got the mobile suits and everything like that, but it's just detective mystery. I'll take your silence as meaning you have no care about this. Okay.
I don't know. I don't know
It's
about
not
the particular.
that. It's just I don't have anything else to add.
Right. Okay. Well, I guess we'll wrap up here, and then if we do a ranking or we don't do a ranking, and we just go into the series after whatever we do, we'll cover any additional thoughts that may or may not be had in the next thing. So, once again, I have been Theta. Below me is Justin. Beneath him is Lessons. And we have been Stoneface Reactions, and we will catch you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Hey everybody, thanks for watching another Stoneface Reactions. If you have an idea of another video we could go ahead and watch, go ahead and put it in the comments down below and we'll add it to the wheel. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and let us know what you thought about this video, what parts you liked. And until then, we'll see you next time. Is this too goofy?